I mean, I'll just bleep it. You
Put
know.
it on Patreon. People
Yeah,
can pay
bleeping it
for
is
it.
fine. Pay to know. Pay to know he works for Valve.
Who is Ice Frog? We will tell you for $5,000.
Redacted.
Just bleep half the podcast and it's like pay to play.
Been a little while since we recorded. We couldn't get a guest for this one. If anybody out there, I'm trying to get Yatoro on the podcast, but it's not working. So anybody wants to anybody who knows Yatoro or Collapse, somebody from Spirit, let them know that we want to talk to them. We couldn't get a guest. We had too many qualifiers going on. Everybody was saying no to us because they got to focus on their qualifiers because they may or may not have qualified for Dream League and PGL. And now they've got ESL One Raleigh coming up, which includes you, right, Quinn?
Yes, it does.
How are your qualifiers gone so far? I have not kept up with qualifiers.
We're invited to Waluigi, so we didn't have to play qualifiers for that one. Wario did us a solid, and then
Who's
yeah.
Wario exactly? That's the question.
I don't know. It's Silvio. I guess Silvio is Wario in this context. We played the Dream League qualifier, but there was like 37 slots I think for Dream League, so that one was kind of a gimme. But the upcoming one for Raleigh is the 2-slot one, so we need to get our act together and plug our keyboards in and play some real Dota to qualify to that one.
I take it you did not have your keyboard plugged in?
I mean, it wasn't the worst thing ever for the first qualifier, but it wasn't good enough.
Okay.
Just trying to fix stuff. I think we're moving in the right direction. It's just stuff just takes time, and just trying to, always trying to fix problems. That's Dota, right? There's always something going wrong. There's always some issue. There's something you're fixing about yourself. You're fixing about the team as a whole. You're trying to help someone else with something. There's always something, and so it's just I don't know. You're just patching stuff, and then eventually maybe everything clicks, and suddenly all the holes are plugged for a moment, and it's like, holy crap, our boat is dry, and then you're cruising, but your boat's not dry very often.
And so I'm not gonna ask you what team-wise you're trying to fix, but can I ask you like what's something that you yourself, you're always trying to work on the team, you're always trying to work on yourself. So is there something that you can tell us that you have worked on for yourself?
I mean, I think for me, like the mental side of it is always a battle. Like my anxiety waxes and wanes like crazy. And so over the years, like in the first gaming year, it was like a lot better because I was able to like manifest like some, like, I don't know, anger or something in some way, and it was able to like quell it or turn it into rage or something. But that stopped working at some point. I used to listen to music a lot before games, and that helped. And then that stopped working. Like stuff like works and stops working kind of randomly. So I'm always trying to like fix that and like find a way for myself to play at like the level I know I can. So I'm always sort of dealing with that and figuring that stuff out for myself. But
what's
in terms
the
of the
latest
actual
trend?
I don't know. Right now, I don't really have a solution per se. Like I'm kind of just. I mean, I think my strat right now is I'm just trying to fix like myself from the inside out, and then hope that the effects of that affect my Dota as well, because I'm kind of out of strats to try for band-aids. I'm out of band-aids. The box is empty. I threw it away. It's in the trash. The store is empty. It's like COVID for band-aids. It's all gone. So now I'm trying to fix it from the inside out. Up my antibodies.
You've gone through these like basically the flash articles, the top 10. Here's the thing to do. The reel that pops up. Here's
doctors don't want you to know this.
Yeah, you've gone through all of those at this point in time, and now all that's left is therapy. Is that what you're saying?
Therapists hate this one trick. These 4 tricks.
I actually recently was watching a short little clip of NBA, and they're asking each one of the players like what's their go-to song before, like what song do they have to listen to before game day. And some of them didn't have a song. Some of them are straight up just like, yeah, I don't actually like listen to music, or some of them were like, I don't have one song. But there was probably about 50% of them that always had one song they needed to listen to. And I think you have talked about you have had your song through and through. Aiden, do you listen to music before?
Not so much anymore. At TI, I was doing this audiobook I was listening to. Shout out to Brandon Sanderson. I know
Oh
they're
yeah,
fans
that's
of
right.
our podcast.
Oh yeah.
There was that, but for years, actually, we haven't done a Han story in a long time. So back in Han, for
Mhm.
We're
many
so
years,
back.
we're so back. For many years, every single game I would play, I would have the Tetris song on repeat. It was like
What?
I know this sounds insane, but like, so I would have the Tetris song on repeat for like only officials, and I would only ever allow myself to listen to it if it was an official. It was
Uh-huh.
like a way to like manipulate my brain into thinking like when you hear this song, you have to perform.
It's game
And
time, flow
it's
zone,
game
get
time.
into
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I had just decided like this is the song, and that was it. And some psychopaths that watched my stream like way back then also known that I would listen to like the Dream League. No, sorry, not Dream League, Dreamland song from Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That one for like 10 hours straight as well while streaming. Just yeah, pure psychopath behavior.
I respect that.
Yeah.
How long ago
See,
was this
me
that
and Johnny
you
Depp
did
have
that?
something in common. That's all
You're
I'm
both
saying.
psychopaths.
Something like that. Just in different ways. It manifests in different ways. How long ago
Uh-huh.
was it?
Yeah.
Um, when was the last time I streamed? 2012? I don't know, 2013?
God damn. I was about to say that does
Yeah,
sound
yeah.
like some you were kind of ahead of the game. That's some early Twitch, YouTube,
Yeah,
meta
yeah,
you got
yeah. I
going on there.
mean, for the no, I mean, I did
Enduring
this when I
psychological torture on stream.
yeah, I mean, I think I did this when I first switched to Dota as well. So like 2016, 2017
Okay.
as well. Yeah. On
I
stream, I'll
listened to
play
Trade
Bounty
Camp for
Hunter.
75 hours. You get $100,000.
Yeah, I would stream, I would play Bounty Hunter, and I would also like cast my own games while I'm playing. Like
Oh yeah,
Early
yeah,
streamer.
yeah. Mhm.
I would just open mic and I would just like talk about everything I'm doing as if like it's a cast and it's like the most hype play ever. He lost it's the creep. Oh my god. Yeah.
That's such an early like Dota thing or early MOBA thing like this.
Yeah.
Like people were way more goober back then. Nobody's a goober these days. There's
Nah.
there's actually no like every pub, everyone's so serious. They're so mad. Everyone's bleeding out their eyes. Everyone's heckin' running down mid. Everyone's carry. Like back then, there's just some dudes and they're like goofing around. I did have one guy actually that like it gave me like I was reminiscent of the past where this guy was like playing a character. His like bit was like he was like a farmer or something who like didn't I don't know this like farmer who wasn't smart. Like that was the bit. And so like I responded to him and be like, Chester is confused about I don't know. It was so weird. It was this, I don't know. This guy was just playing a different person as a bit. It was so strange.
Dude, I love that stuff. I remember there was like I don't know if you guys had this in Dota, but there were these people that would have like they would have like sound clips. Actually, I do know you guys had this in Dota because I saw like some YouTube video on this where like someone's playing as Arteezy and they're just like playing Arteezy lines that they've like cut from
Yeah.
his stream. And I found that stuff so unbelievably funny. It was like a clip of Artur. He says like, "Not everybody's perfect," and then every time Artur would die, the guy would just like, "Not everybody's perfect," in Artur's voice to him. And he's like playing Pudge, for sure he's playing Pudge in that kind of game.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that was the good old days. People like you didn't really. I mean, you wanted to win. I was still trying to win, but it wasn't like life and death the same way. And
Yeah.
I actually didn't really play Dota over Christmas, or like for like 4 weeks basically since Thailand. And now I play pubs and people are like yelling at each other and I'm laughing my ass off. Like my mental sanity has returned and all this stuff is just funny now. And I know how it used to affect me before, but now like you have some guys like just yelling random stuff. It's like unbelievably funny. So to all of you guys in high MMR pubs that have like been nonstop grinding for 7 years straight now, I promise you, take 4 weeks off and the shit show is a comedy instead of like a tragedy. It's really nice when your mental sanity's back. There are still like goobers out there. They're just different goobers.
Haven't we had this idea before that we like? I would love for Valve just to like shut down the Dota servers for like a month, and then
I
like
haven't heard
everybody
about
comes
this.
back.
I also haven't
and
heard
just
about this.
what?
I have not heard
Yeah,
about this.
I just want Valve to shut down the Dota servers for a month, and just let everybody detox the fucking pub Dota brain, and just detox and then come back
That'd be
clean.
really interesting.
I actually think it could do so much. It'd be back to the same old shithole within 2 or 3 months. But there would be some people that would remember like, oh yeah, this game, I played this game because it was fun, not because I, am mindlessly addicted to the plus 30, minus 30, and addicted to the rage, the self-righteous rage that comes into every single game. And I think overall it could be an improvement. It would still be a shithole, but it would be a shithole with a few flowers. That's what I'm saying.
To be honest, banning like half the let's say you have a limited amount of games you're allowed to play every month. How about that? You're allowed to
I'm down.
play 10. I mean, I know my team super down. I know some other teams
Y'all got games
less
to spare.
down. Yeah.
You could auction off your games.
Yeah, exactly. We'll sell our games.
We got 50 games to spare.
Yo,
you know,
Falcons, you want to play some more games? That Timber is looking a little rusty.
I heard you want Grandmaster on Pugna.
All right, we're already talking about matchmaking, so that is one of the topics I wanted to talk about. Did you guys see the Gorgc post, I assume?
Nope.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, I'll probably throw bits and pieces of it up on screen, but Aydin, I'll link it to you directly and you could pull it up. It is a long post. I'm just going to go over the list that he has at the bottom. Gorgc made a post on Reddit that is basically an open letter to Valve to try and fix the matchmaking system. Through his own experiences and his talks with pro players. 1 through 6, the 6 bullet points. 1, remove double downs at a certain expiry date and make them limited only in the future. 2, incentivize Overwatch report reviewing by rewarding a random untradeable common/uncommon item for every 3 Overwatch cases done, a maximum of 3 a day. A serious look at the obvious offenders of both cheaters and double down win traders and permanently ban their MMR at regular intervals, perhaps monthly. 4, make Immortal Party Queue viable in some sense again. A proposed solution on my end that I liked was the old separate party and solo queue MMR. This system wasn't perfect, but it was by far better than now. On top of this, the solution to having Immortal Party queues, especially 5-man, being able to be on the same team. 5, an MMR reset, potentially having for people above 6K to generally push the absolute top down. Example, 15K player becomes 7.5, etc., etc. This is because players above a certain point don't care about their MMR, but more about the rank, and that will stay the same. And 6, have a functioning report system with behavior score that gets updated and tweaked so the community can eventually moderate itself. Now, I know both of you guys have had your problems with the matchmaking system, and I don't think there's really anything that is revolutionary here in Gorgc's post, but I guess I was just wondering what your guys' view of what fixes should be for the matchmaking system, if there were any.
You want to go first?
Sure. I mean, I think double downs conceptually are bad and flawed and should never come back ever again. I think it's probably, I don't know how much mounting Valve makes off of it. Maybe it's a lot. But I think it's just conceptually bad for the game. Because either it's adding more randomness to the system, which at a minimum, it's adding more randomness to the system, which is just bad. You want matchmaking to add consistency, right? That's why the jumps in MR are smaller, because you want it to average out over a large sample size so that the games are higher quality. If there's more variance in MR, that means the system is less likely to be accurate, so the games are lower quality. And then obviously there's the win trading problem, which is just unfixable because people will create bot accounts and they will farm MMR. And so then you need separate systems in place to keep all this garbage in check. But the thing is, even if it's not bots, friends can do this with each other. And it's just a pain to install all of this crap and all the processes to fix this crap. And
Can
even
I add
unrelated
to that point
to this,
real quickly?
Yeah.
I think that I have noticed, when you're I mean, you guys both stream, right? you know, you get that feeling of like, oh man, I kind of feel like this guy's stream sniping me. You know, he's getting all my wards, or I keep running into the same guy over and over again, or maybe he's just openly like he's trying to queue into you all the time, right? And I think some people get, I call it streamer brain, where anything that goes wrong in the game, they start associating with that the enemy team is stream sniping them, right? It's like, oh, how did they know we were smoked here? How did they, you know, like, how do they keep getting all my wards, et cetera, et cetera? It becomes this paranoia. And I feel like this paranoia has now stretched into the entire Dota community, where everything that goes wrong in a game, anybody underperforms, that guy's win trading. That guy's a fucking win trader. I was playing with Merlini. We duo queued ranked randomly, and we're playing Dota together, and we ended up on the same team together. And our teammates were accusing Ben of win trading. They're like, he must be partying with somebody else on the other team. And me and Ben were laughing. We were like, just wait till the end of the game. They're gonna see that we're actually on the same, you know, we're on the same party together. And it's just like the paranoia is there constantly. And you know, it's no longer people are just like playing bad. It's, oh, this guy's intentionally ruined the game.
But it's not different from before. Because I feel like for as long as I play Dota, it's like, oh, this guy's account buyer, this guy's an actor. There's always something. The new word is just win trader. It's like, to me, it's just like, I think this guy's bad. But
I agree, but I think that this specific scenario
it's
just
bigger
breeds
than
more
before.
paranoia than normal.
The
Right?
last ones, I see.
Yeah.
Because they used to be just paid actors back in, like, if you played China pubs, you just see these people with these nicknames, and it was just like, oh, this guy's a paid actor, that guy's a paid actor. But yeah, yeah, I mean, I agree, like with what Quinn said, mostly, or everything. I think, like the greater the MMR disparity, I think is like the best point, and like the greater the MMR disparity, the shittier the game in general, and the more double downs, the greater the MMR disparity will be. Because essentially what you're doing is you're playing 2 games every time you play 1 game in terms of like MMR gain or loss. So it's just like driving people further apart. What else? I mean, I don't know. If Valve makes money off of it, you know, it's probably gonna stay. So need to figure out a way to make it stay, I would assume. I think out of Gorgc's points, I think incentivize Overwatch. I don't know if that will ever do anything, unless like whatever the incentive is like too good to pass up. In which case, maybe you offer double down tokens for people that watch. No, I'm just kidding. But the one I hate the most is resetting MMR. A forced MMR reset that would make people that are 15k 6.5 or 7.5 or whatever he says. I feel like this has been done so many times, and it is the most frustrating thing in the entire world for someone that's 15k MMR now to get matched to someone that's 6k MMR today. Like that match is like, you know, the skill disparity is still unbelievably massive. Like pro players talk about like, or people on stream talk about like, oh, this guy's 1k rank. You're now like 1k rank is like, he's gonna look like Jesus Christ to you compared to like whatever the 6k.
The gap.
Yes, the gap is so large. So I think MMR resets are like almost impossible. I think that's like, maybe you could do like some, I don't know, if you're top 1k, you enter like a separate pool or something, and you just queue against each other, and then like people have to earn the right to enter like the top 1,000 ranks, and then I don't know, you lose your right or whatever, something like that, and then you play normal matchmaking or something. But the MMR reset thing, I personally have never been a fan of, and I've never seen it like actually be nice for anything other than like motivation of like, oh, now the season's ended, so you know, now I'm motivated, I'm gonna try really hard, get high MMR. But if you do it if the numbers are too far apart when you reset, it just ends up like kind of bad. And if the numbers are too close, then I think people just don't really care that much. So
do you like seasonal ranking? Because Han never had seasonal ranking, right? Have you guys ever played a game that had seasonal ranking?
Dota did for a while, right? We had like 6-month seasons in Dota for a bit, and then they made it optional because people got annoyed. I think, or they felt like climbing MMR is pointless or something.
It was a very short period. I don't remember how long it was.
Yeah, I feel like there was only like 1 reset that actually happened or something.
I think there were 2. I think
there was more. There was more than 1 for sure. Han never had it.
Not very long.
But I know we had a MMR reset, and like going from, I mean, it would be the same as what Gorgc just said. You went from like playing top end to playing like middle end of the like matchmaking pool, and you do not realize how large the skill gap is. And the games that you queue into for like the first few months, you might just get like 4 guys that were like, top 10 ranks on one team, and then 4 guys that just used to be at that MMR always in the same lobby, and it's just like the worst game you've ever played, and it just feels incredibly unfair and boring. And like every game just might be that you have no control over it for like the
So you
first
think
few months.
Dota is just not a seasonal ranking type of game that you could
I mean,
do that sort
it
of
could be
thing?
seasonable or whatever. Seasonal. Fuck, I can't say this word for whatever reason.
Okay.
Seasonal ranking, but like for top 1K of the immortal bracket, and then like top 2, like it would have to be like in batches. You can't drop below a certain point, because then I think it'll just be shit.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is MMR resetting, like, it was never a problem until double downs, but they just increase the pool by like a ridiculous amount that the numbers started getting stupid and people gained MMR too fast. Like, for instance, back in the day, for someone to go from like every time a new 1,000 MMR marker was hit, it took like over a year for this to happen. Now people went from, they got 15K, and then in like 3 months people got 16K or something. Like, it just starts, like, my biggest thing is someone who was like always like a huge MMR grinder. I always wanted to be top 10. I always wanted to be rank 1. Like, MMR is so devalued to me right now because I don't double down. Like, I got 15K with no double downs because I hate it. I hate the system and I refuse to be a part of it. So I never double down. And I can feel how hard it is to gain MMR. Like, because like essentially every time, like, there's like a decent amount of games someone just ruins from the start, and all those games you double down, so you like automatically every single game someone ruins you're getting double value out of, and every time someone picks Pudge you double down, and every time they have 2 carries they double down, and every time they have like a jungler you double down. Like, you're just getting insane plus EV, and everyone is doing this, so everyone is getting plus EV. So like, it's just gonna increase the rankings by like ridiculous rates because you just do all these basic things. And apart from the people who are just addicted to pressing double down, there's every game, like their eyes are lighting up to see the Fiend sevens flying by. Like, those people are pressing it every game, But like the people who are somewhat numerically inclined are just going to, they see Pudge double down, they see someone ruining double down, like whatever, And that, I just hate that crap because it just devalues the number. Like, it makes it mean nothing. Like, I'm ranked 60 right now, and like part of me is like, that's disgusting. I hate to see my rank that low. And the other part of me is like, I don't care anymore because like, I'm not going to double down, and I'm never going to be top 10 again if I don't double down.
So, in your mind, right, double downs ruin the MMR system, right? If they take away the double downs, do you feel like the system is still kind of fucked because of the impact that those double downs had, or do you think it'll just eventually normalize? Are you fine
eventually
with the number
normalize.
staying the way it is now?
Yeah, I don't have issue with the numbers. The numbers mean nothing to me. It's I think if eventually it would normalize and be fine again, like probably not even that long it would take to normalize. I mean, one of the other things he mentioned that is like, to be honest, my actual biggest grief with matchmaking and not double downs is, the reports not working is just absurd. And it may sound ironic coming from me, someone who was like a proponent of changing the system whenever it was ultra harsh, to say that, but
I never remember when the system was ultra harsh.
it was very short. It was like 2 weeks. It was whenever, like, there was a period where it was just, if you reported, your behavior score went down. It didn't matter if it was true or not. So I did it on stream. Yeah, that little period there. It is just insane to me that out of like every single competitive game that has a system to punish people who are outrageous, how Dota just cannot do it. Like, how I was watching a pub literally 30 minutes ago. People are all chatting the N-word. Like, how are they not immediately permabanned for this? How is this real? Like, I can't believe it. I can't believe that Valve is not able to go in and just program some garbage that has, if you say the N-word or the F slur or whatever, you immediately get IP banned. Like, I can't believe it. These people are irredeemable. Like, every single day I play pubs. I play 10 pubs a day. Every single day I have at least 2 games ruined by someone from the start of the game. Like, every single day I have someone saying insane, homophobic, like sexist garbage every single day. That one is even more common. That's like 8 out of 10 games. Someone is saying slurs or just being generally bigoted. Like, how is it allowed? I hate it so much, and it's unfathomable to me how they can't just put in an automated system that checks this garbage. You don't need your Valve has 25 employees. You don't need 5 of them working on this crap. Just put something in. Like every other game has a behavior score system. I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
Yeah, I am with you on the. I have always felt like the punishments for ruining games. I actually don't get nearly as much communication problems at my level for whatever reason. I feel like I don't run into that nearly as much, but game ruining, I just feel like is something that I've always felt like there needs to be a bigger punishment for it, just because it's usually the same actors, right? It's the repeat offenders. It's and it doesn't take a very large percent of the population, right? If you were talking about just like 10% of people are game ruiners, that means every game, statistically is possible to be ruined, right? You only need one person out of 10 people to actually be ruining a game. So it's like you got to shut that shit down hard, because it's one person ruining 9 other people's games. And I don't know. I've always felt that way. I've always, there was a period of time every single TI I was talking to a Valve employee about, like, I feel like the matchmaking system could use stronger punishments in stopping some, because you're also helping out that person, man. The person who's just like doing this game griefing shit, like, they need to stop playing the game. They are not in a healthy space, and they need to take a step away from the game. It would do them some good.
How about this?
Uh-huh.
Slightly joking, of course, but you ban people really easily, but they can pay to get unbanned. Now Valve makes money off of fixing the behavior score system, and the people that want to behave very poorly have a way to keep doing what they want. But a lot of people that can't behave very poorly can no longer do it.
Oh, well, that's actually
Capitalism.
That's a pretty solid point, because Valve already have wrapped in certain outside mechanisms into the game itself. I've seen other outside third parties profiting off of certain things, and they bring it into the game, right? And they're like, well, why are you guys profiting off of this? We could just take it. They would essentially be profiting off of account buying, right? It'd be like, why do you need to buy a new account? You could just buy your old account back.
That is
buy your cosmetics.
Yo.
And then they can say we're going to use that money for some sort of good cause, for some sort of therapy for gamers.
Yeah. It'll go into TI
rehabilitation. On the idea of bit suggestions here, I also we were talking about removing double downs. What if we kept double downs? Okay, but it wasn't player decided. What if every game you went into, it was just the wheel? The wheel would roll.
That's funny.
Right?
I'd be okay with that.
MMR, it's just like, this game is a quadruple down game. Choose your players accordingly, choose your heroes accordingly. This game is worth 120 points for everybody, like shit like that. No, that would be a fucking banger. Yeah, everyone gets it.
I thought everyone gets like
minus
difference.
120. No.
No, there should be some where it's like, dude, the wheel, like, if you lose this game, you get banned for a week. Like there's time ones too, or like you half your like 5 random cosmetics get set on fire and deleted from your inventory. Like some insane nuclear stuff.
That one's crazy.
Like it unfriends and blocks like 2 of your friend list, like just some insane garbage. It's like, no, I unfriended my best friend from high school. I haven't spoken to him for he's just blocked now.
Because that is a problem. You are kind of right. Like, double down has ruined MMR in some ways. I also, I know some people. So Blitz told me, actually, Aydin, you can back this up. Apparently 33 had this idea that you should always double down.
It's just simple. It's like, you're just, okay, let's say on average you win more than you lose.
Sure.
Most people do, if you're good. Then you're just playing twice the amount of games, essentially. That's what it boils down to, if you double down. So you're gaining at twice the speed.
And you also will put yourself into the mindset of this game is worth more. But then at some point in time, the game that you can't double down, it's just like, well, this game doesn't really matter so much.
The idea is you just buy all, every game you play is a double down, just to play it twice the amount.
Yeah, I'm just saying when you run out, right? Like, I know when I double down, I'm like, oh, shit, this game. Well,
you don't run out. That's the point. That's the whole problem. There's no running out. If you can only, the old battle classes, you double down twice. That's what you got.
Yeah.
That was fine. The problem right now is like Quinn said, people literally just double down every single game. You have a pudge on your team, don't care, double down. Like they're the opposite. They just do it. It's like you're just
Yeah.
playing 40 games in one day.
You're just inducing randomness into the system.
I did not know you could buy double down because like I've
Wait, are you
only
Oh,
I just got
yeah,
back to
that's
playing
the
Dota.
problem.
Okay,
That's
I just
how
thought
the
there
bot
were a
farmers
lot of
work.
double downs. I just thought there
No.
were a lot of them
You
because
don't run out.
you just don't run out. That's crazy.
That's why Valve makes money off of it. It's like $8 and you can ruin games for another week. Like run it. But the problem is, okay, I'm not as holy as Quinn. I have abused this myself. Like I did this and it worked. I gained like 1,000 MMR on like a 60% win rate or 70% win rate in like a week. It's just stupid. It's just stupid.
Yeah, I came back after I didn't play Dota for 3 months basically, and I came back and the MMR was so inflated that I didn't really have to do anything. Like I felt like most of my games were just kind of easy, and I was just like, oh, I'm having a great time playing Dota because like I'm winning 60 to 70% of my games because like everybody else has gone up and now I'm just like naturally catching up.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
I'm having a great time. I'm no longer at that 50-50.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys got anything else for our memorandum to Valve on how to fix the matchmaking system?
No. I
I'm
do think
hopeless.
Gorgc's list of suggestions, if I'm being real honest, like none of these are any solutions. It's like the only thing that actually is something concrete is make double downs limited. I feel like everything else is kind of just words that doesn't actually help Valve do anything. I think they already know all the things that he listed. So I don't really.
Do you guys know how the deadlock matchmaking system works?
You can't queue with friends, is what I heard. That made people quit.
Okay, yeah, I think they might have instituted that at some point in time, but there was a period of time where I was playing where they just instituted the rank system, and I thought something that they were doing that was actually like kind of innovative. It's relatively simple, but I guess I'd never seen it before. Was the fact that your MMR, your number, rank, whatever, is set weekly, so you will play games and you will not get the immediate dopamine hit of plus 30 minus 30. You will not see that change happening until the week is done, and then you will get hit with like, oh, here's the total sum of like your wins and losses that ends up with some sort of change. And one of the things that I think that they talked about, maybe this is just in some headcanon, but I think that it also meant that they could within that week, if there was somebody on the enemy team, for example, that was caught for cheating, right? Because any FPS is going to have a lot more cheating and that sort of thing, then they could basically nullify the results of that game or something like that, right? So you wouldn't have to, you wouldn't get the negative hit of like you match up against a cheater or something like that. You immediately get hit this minus 30 that is not going to change. But then also it means that they could potentially rectify some of those situations within that weekly sort of deal. I always thought that was really interesting. I would wonder what it would do to Dota matchmaking, because I do feel like it would make people a little less crazy as well if there wasn't just this immediate feedback of a win or a loss and how that feels.
I've never thought about this. I'm not sure.
It's interesting for sure.
Do people check like their MMR like that? Like every game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's most of the ghouls are doing that.
I see. I'm too far gone. Yeah.
We'll get back to the qualifier. So I know Aydin, you said you were gonna hate watch, fiend watch, whatever. The Western European qualifiers.
Did I?
You definitely said that.
Did I say this in Thailand?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, probably. Probably.
Did I say this? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, did you not fiend watch the?
I didn't. That's why.
What?
I missed out. I wanted to. Okay. No. I have only watched.
You're telling me that Nigma Galaxy had a qualifier
no, that's what I was gonna say.
Up for grabs, and you didn't watch them?
But I didn't hate watch. When I watch Nigma, I watch for the glory. Don't make me one of them. I'm not a hate
Okay,
watcher.
well,
I was okay. I was really hyped to watch OG versus Nigma. That one I was unbelievably hyped for. But I didn't really watch most of the qualifiers, if I'm honest. I kind of try to stay away from the PC for a bit.
Okay.
Or like from Dota in general. But
well, for our weekly Nigma Galaxy Power Hour with Aydin.
it's sad because okay, Dota is just a shit game, to be honest. Because like you can be the better team for it's just the game sucks. You can be the better team for 95% of the game and then you still lose. I feel like as a Nigma fan, that is like my experience most of the time when I watch it. It's like for 90% of the game, I genuinely from the bottom of my heart believe they are the better team. Even I play them myself sometimes, and I feel like for 90% of the game, they were the better team. It's just that 10% is sometimes really unlucky.
Unlucky.
And then I get really sad. And I had the same experience. Except I would say like the OG series, maybe not so much, but the rest of their series, I would kind of always. Also, okay. Chimara Esports.
I was going to ask about that. How do you feel about
very
Chimara?
Okay. Chimara Esports, whatever. Fly to Jordan or something. Play Europe, CIS, and MENA qualifiers. Hello. Can we?
Yeah.
How is this allowed? I feel like Quinn, if you went to South America and you played qualifier, you would like get kicked out or something. How is this fair?
I mean, the thing is back then it was Valve, right? And Valve cared a little. I mean, they cared if it was punching down. They didn't care if you punched up, right? But what I did was punching down, so I got banned for it. I look back and I'm like, kind of rightfully so. We were slot stealing. Now I'm honestly surprised Saudi doesn't care because they made the meta slot like it's like ESL is the only one with a meta slot, right? And it's Saudi that's doing it, right? So I'm surprised that they're not applying the rule. Like I'm surprised that they're allowing this because they want Nigma to go, right? That's why they put the meta slot is they want Nigma or Falcons or both of them to go. Like that's the whole point. So it doesn't make any sense to me that they're not keeping it to where Nigma plays against the dudes that are like 4K. It's just really I'm just confused. I'm just surprised really that ESL is allowing it because they are slot stealing, of course. Like instead of playing against 4 teams, they're playing against 1 team. Like and Chimera they're just picking the 1v1, and I'm just surprised.
Yeah, because then Chimera played through the PGL where they don't have them in a slot. They played through Western Europe and they did not make it that far, right?
Yeah, they lost.
They ended up losing to Avalus and OG. So
yeah,
it's a different qualifier for sure.
Yeah, I mean the MENA qualifier obviously there probably shouldn't be one in terms of merit. I mean it's it is what it is. It's fine. But and so like in terms of competitive integrity, it's better that Chimera is there. But it's also like so for like the tournament quality, that's fine. Like at the end of the day, I don't really care that much. Because Nigma is also like mostly like rich players who have like won a lot of tournaments and like been to a lot of lands and stuff. So it's like, if they can't qualify, then it's like, I mean, it sucks to suck. Like that is kind of how it is, right? Like back in the day when we were going to SA, it was a lot worse because we were going to a region that had like been like chronically trampled on for years through like server disadvantage and all kinds of crap. We were going there and stealing their slot. That was pretty messed up. But like Chimera going to MENA is not the same to me because Nigma is all rich players, a bunch of TI winners. Like you're like, I don't know, they can fight for their slot. Like they should have to fight for a slot.
That's fair. I think that's fair. But I think like the idea of, I mean, at least publicly, the idea of having like a slot in your region is to like grow the scene in the region, I guess. And I just feel like even if Nigma's just stomping like 4K MMR players, that's 4K MMR players that are getting to play against top tier teams. But now get to play against like, I guess the argument doesn't really work. Actually,
okay, you say that, but there was like a qualifier where the whole upper bracket forfeited.
I know. I realized. Cut that part out. Editor, cut that part out. Just cut it out. I realized it was a stupid argument.
He is trying to make my job really hard for this podcast.
I hope your editor enjoys his job.
It's me, motherfucker.
Oh.
I'm the editor.
Leave that part in.
I am leaving that part
in. Take it out. Cap. Okay, I'll buy you 2 donuts if you take it out.
He's gonna say a slur to make you take it out.
That's now the meta. If you ever say something you don't want to go on the podcast, you just immediately slur it up. Okay. if you guys will notice, there are not many jump cuts in these episodes. So
I really feel like you should take that out. It just makes me look stupid.
okay,
And I do a good enough job of that on my own. I
Yeah,
don't
but
need the added.
That was also on your own.
Okay, but the thing is
Unlucky.
everybody makes a stupid statement in the moment.
True.
It's the
Alright.
the fact that you caught yourself that doesn't make you look stupid.
True.
Okay, leave it in for the fans. I'll do
Okay.
anything for the fans.
We'll leave it in for the Patreon. The shit, what was I gonna say? Oh,
Hey,
yeah, I am
heroes.
also I'm with you on this one, Quinn. Like TOs, I feel like are being incompetent in like putting their finger on the scale, right? Like all I hear from these tournament organizers all the time, you know, it's just like it's hard to run these Dota tournaments. It's hard to make them profitable, especially for the English broadcasting side. You sell the rights to the Russian broadcasting side, like holy crap, that's a shit ton of money. But like otherwise, right? It's like the English broadcasting side. It's really not that profitable. It's hard to make things work. Yada yada yada, right? But then I see like Fisher is a great example. I was talking to Trent. I was like 100%. You see how many invited teams they have for this Fisher event, and it's right after Thailand where Nigma did pretty good. I was like 100% they invite Nigma. If I'm them, I 100% invite them because you're inviting like 10 teams and they did pretty decent at Thailand, and your viewing numbers is going to go way up. I'm just like, you invite them. 1000% you invite them. And then they turned out, nope, didn't invite them, put them in the qualifiers. I was just like, what? You guys are blowing my mind here. Like, you have probably the team that will get you the biggest viewing number bump for at least for English side of things. And it's just like, you're supposed to try and like get them into the qualifier, into your tournament to get this bump. You have the opportunity to. Now that Valve is no longer like running the system, third parties can kind of do what they want, right? If you want like Blast, right? They just invite. They don't have a qualifier, right?
Yeah.
They just like, we're just going to invite whoever we want to invite. And since
I
they're a
respect
third
that.
party and they're running, you know, that's their tournament, they can invite whoever they want, you know? And I don't think there's too much wrong with that.
No,
I feel like
mean, competitive integrity is wrong, Cap. I feel like we, the three of us, are like the least like objective people on this because obviously we get invited to like everything, and I think it's nice. But I also do remember the Alliance days, and having an opportunity to play a qualifier is like, you know, a shred of hope. And it also reminds me of like, you know, Quinn, your speech on Yatoro and his Bugattis.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were once there, and I feel like
Oh
having
yeah, I mean, I
qualifiers
was in
is
the
nice.
abyss for most of my career.
Yeah,
Game
yeah, yeah, that's
and
what
the
I'm saying.
glints of hope and glory were
Yeah.
but little sparks in the rough.
Yeah, so like
the competitive
I feel
integrity
the
is
opposite. I feel like good on tournament organizers for not being greedy, for not inviting Nigma for the viewing numbers, unless it's
Tournament
justified.
integrity, competitive integrity is already shot. Okay, TI has like the lowest competitive integrity format like of all like you could possibly conceive of. They were like, what would make for the most random result? Let's do that. Like it's all out the window anyway.
it's
No,
hype,
I think teams that win TI are always like the best team of the year.
Yeah, I think they've like purely earned with no.
Yes, especially their supports.
I mean, we
They
can
work
we
really
can
hard.
at least agree that the teams that end up in the finals are the best teams, right?
Yes,
True, true,
unequivocally.
There we
Honestly,
go.
why?
There we go.
Okay, real talk.
But
Why do
between
finals
the two
even
teams
have
in
to
the
be
finals,
played?
right? Then
It doesn't
maybe
really
there's
matter.
some.
Exactly. We don't need to play finals anymore. Let's just crown 2 champions every event.
We could be like Magnus and Heckin. Who did he do it with recently? I can't remember. Anyway, it was
Dude,
a chess final
gonna
where,
offer. I'm
where
gonna
they
offer
accepted to draw. Anyway,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we don't need finals. Dude, finals always trash. No, just me. Finals always trash.
it's only our finals
it's
that are
just
trash.
you guys. It's just
Yes.
you guys.
No,
Our
okay,
finals
okay,
are
okay,
trash.
Okay.
If one of
okay.
you two is involved, and especially if you're both involved, it's trash.
If we're both involved, it's Heckin Dunzo.
Okay,
Either
so
we're
hold
getting
on.
decked or they're getting decked. Somebody is getting taken out back, and you don't want to talk about like it's just.
So let's just go back to placing Ame and Yatoro in every grand final, and we'll have good finals.
Yeah.
5
Yes.
70-minute games, Anti-Mage versus Terrorblade.
Everybody else can play for third.
Yeah, we could just have like, you know, the professional, you know, like the you know, the Dota TTV tab where there's professional tournaments and premium. We could just have the bracket that way too. You know, like at the end of the day, so we're gonna have like, you know, we're gonna have the professional finals, and then we're gonna have the premium finals. You know, we'll
You're gonna
have
pay extra for that one.
finals. You know, And the professional grand finals is like, oh, it's Bet Boom, Liquid, good Game of Gladiators, who cares? But the premium finals is cross regional. It's China versus somebody else, and it's probably going to be Spirit versus LGD. You know,
It's just an all-star game. It's just Miracle and Ame and Yatoro, Sumail, Bat. It's just the bat chest Everlong bracket.
and the prize pool is twice as much as the professional final.
Exactly.
That sounds good. This sounds good. I like overcooking. We just
Okay.
make a tournament where like it doesn't matter if you won or lost the game. Just like vote. The viewers get to vote for who fought the hardest and was the most entertaining. I would genuinely be down for this format for one event. It doesn't matter if you won or lost the game. The viewers decide who the winner was.
What about a tournament? Like, ESL did the skit about like tournaments being rigged. What if for one tournament, like there's like a Dota Vince McMahon who's like in the background saying, "No, you lose," and he's pulling the strings and deciding who wins. Dude, that would be so hype. The heckin' Vince McMahon Invitational, except without all the insanity and like horrific person.
Who's the Vince McMahon of Dota?
Slacks.
Slacks. That was the first name that I came up with as well. Slacks. I mean, he's got the body too to like do the goofy walk in.
I like my format because Falcons would always lose.
I see.
I like how you suggested the popularity tournament.
No.
When you're backed by Team
fun.
Liquid, the most popular brand. Let's go, Liquid.
No. Play fun. Play entertaining Dota. I feel like that's like the point.
Okay. All right. We have the ESL One Raleigh qualifiers are still coming up. Aydin, you are one of the 4 teams that is already going. Western European qualifier is pretty stacked. So what I wanted to ask you, who do you think are the 2 teams going through the Western European qualifier?
So
given that we already have a ton of data already from PGL and Fisher and Dream League and all these other quals.
Yeah, and I didn't really see them, so my opinion might be wrong.
Sure.
Probably is wrong. But we got what? Gaming, Tundra, Avalus, Nigma Secret OG. Am I missing someone? Mouse?
It's not Nigma. It's Navi Junior.
Oh.
And then it's Passion UA and Night Pulse, which is like Dalai Lama, Dream, Warwick.
Okay. Well, probably not them. I think Tundra, I feel pretty confident about. And then it's like what? Gaming or who we got?
Avalus. Avalus is the ones who have done the best in these other qualifiers.
You said Nigma's not in here, right?
Nigma is not.
No.
Okay.
Team Secret is though.
Yeah, I'm not a big Secret
You could vote for your
believer.
boy Parker.
Yeah, just I don't know. It's not looking good. I mean, I think Game and Avalus, Tundra, I think are the top 3 by like a lot, if I'm honest. I don't think it's like very competitive. So I think it depends a little bit, the gaming, which gaming shows up. If it's like the we're gonna roll you gaming, or if it's the unlucky gaming, you never know. But I think like obviously Gaming Tundra, I think are the 2 strongest teams. So ideally both of them don't make it. Let's go.
So you are
Ekidota.
cheering for Secret. That's what you're saying.
He
Let's
wants
go
Night
Ekidota.
Pulse and
I want Ekidota.
you want to face up against
I'll probably
Dalai
rank
Lama?
you guys. I'll probably rank the teams in that order. Tundra, Gaming, Avalus.
Okay.
Who you got,
Well,
Cap?
Quinn.
You can't just ask me while Quinn is sitting here. Who you got?
You know what? I'm gonna go Tundra Avalus. Sorry, Quinn. I haven't seen it yet from Gaming Gladiators, so I'm always somebody you gotta prove it first. So I haven't seen it yet.
That's crazy.
Listen, I don't have scrim info. All right,
Oh,
maybe you are
I
proving
don't
it.
either.
But
Bro, you think we scrim?
didn't
Come
you
on,
just
man.
get done with the scrim today?
Yeah, we did. No, but that's all people we scrim. Dude, the idea that we don't scrim is like unbelievably funny. People will just think like we pull up to tournaments and don't even play the game. It's great. We don't scrim.
Yeah, everybody knows that Nisha has played at least 10 Overwatch games before that match started, all right?
Overwatch.
Whatever it's called.
That game, bro. That game.
Marvel Rivals.
Overthrow.
What's the custom game called?
Overthrow.
That he plays all the time? Overthrow. Whatever, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Quinn, how are your scrims going?
They're a mixed bag, but I think we're figuring stuff out, and we're I'd like to believe we're moving in the right direction. We had a pretty decent sized break because we didn't play Thailand and then Quimas and New Year's and stuff. So, still shaking off rust and stuff. The prior qualifier definitely wasn't, like I said, wasn't good enough. But
Ended on some lighter shit. You guys had holidays.
yeah,
Quinn, you
Yay.
did a little traveling. How was that? What'd you do?
went to Japan and then I went back to see family in the States. Japan was really nice. It's the second time I've been. Highly recommend anyone who, if you get the chance. It's honestly just a sick place. The like combination of like, I don't know, the old and the new. There's like giga cities and like like everything is crazy and lit up and stuff. And then there's also like shrines and like beautiful scenery and mountains and like all like the mix of the two is like really really good. And the food there is also like incredible. So it's really nice. I like Japan a lot. Honestly, it's a great place to vacation. And getting to see family is always nice because when you're traveling and stuff, like especially since I have to be in EU all the time, I only get to see my family a couple times a year. So it's very nice when I get to see them, especially like extended family and stuff around Christmas. I kind of only get to see them once a year, if that. So it's I try to appreciate those times when I get to see everybody.
Do they watch this podcast at all?
My immediate family does, or like some of them, like my mom and dad do, I think. I'm not sure about the rest.
Okay, of your extended family, who's your favorite to see?
I mean, I'm not gonna say their name, but there's
Mine's my grandma. My grandma. I usually only get to see her once a year. She's great. She is like in her upper 80s and is still working, still fucking smart as a whip. She just keeps on going. She's great.
I have an aunt that I really like seeing.
Do you have more than one aunt?
Yeah, I do.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
What about this aunt makes you like her so much?
I was fucking around.
She's just really just like just a positive person. She's like positive and nice to be around. Like laughs easy, funny, doesn't like take anything too seriously. Like I'm pretty lucky that like when I go back for holidays, and like a lot of people have like tumultuous family gatherings around Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever. It's like a common like stereotype, especially in the States. And I don't have that. Like things are like pretty chill and people like get along pretty well. So it's like the people that make that the case that are just nice to be around. I mean, I always like Aydin said whenever he took this big long break and then he comes back to Dota, he's like, oh, everything's so funny. But when I take a long break and then I come back to Dota, it's like some unreal whiplash culture shock. Like I feel like somebody just took me and dunked me in a bucket of ice and is like just waterboarding me in of like an ice bucket. Like I'm like I was around with all these nice people. I was in sunny beaches. I was in California. I was in Tahiti, and then suddenly you're and I'm just I can't. The contrast for me is just astounding. And so I was dumbfounded when he talked about like this nice experience coming back. Where to me it's like I would rather like lobotomize myself than like be dunked back into this mess.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure we have the same experience. It's just I laugh at it instead of getting mad about it. I guess it's just like how it works for me.
Maybe so.
I don't know. Yeah, it's so funny because I that feeling is also relatable. Like when I've been grinding for a while though, I feel it more. Like when I've been trapped inside of the prison for long enough, then I'm down to get lobotomized too.
I think it's just the first 2 or 3 days back where I'm like still like getting used to the reality that like wow, I was like I was living outside with like sun and shine, and now I'm in like solitary confinement and there's like somehow there's like demons are real and they're like in my pub. Like I don't know.
Hey, Aydin, what'd you do for the holidays?
What did I do? We did a lot of things. I had friends over. We went to see Agnes' family. We saw my family. We hosted a New Year's party at our place. All of these things are really, really fun. Kind of same thing. Got to see a lot of family that I only usually get to see like every so often. I luckily got to go to my cousin's wedding this year, so we were all gathered. But yeah, no, very, very similar. Just like a lot of family. Same thing as Quinn. My family's like pretty happy. Everybody kind of likes each other, which I think is not as common as you'd like to believe it is. So very fortunate in that. Just good vibes, a lot of laughing, a lot of having fun, just making jokes.
When do you go back to the liquid facilities? When are you guys going to be boot camping again?
So at the moment, the Alienware training facility in the Netherlands is under construction. I think they're like buffing it up because the latest Alienware PCs are too big for our
Wow.
current setup. Yeah, so they're like actually massive, great PCs. You guys should check them out. I wish I knew their name, but I don't. But so they're like buffing up the facility. They're making like it a bit stronger. So we're actually boot camping from home for Tundra.Dyrachyo or whatever it's called. Fisher
Playground, yeah.
Fisher Playground, close enough. I know where I'm going. So yeah, I don't know. It'll be a while, I think. Because we have Schengen problems. I don't know if you know about this.
Yes.
Yeah. So William can't be in Europe for too long because Europe doesn't like Americans.
True.
So you guys are limited access only.
So true.
Yeah.
So true.
You only want us there 50% of the time. Anymore, that's too much American.
That's too much. That's too much. Yeah.
Anybody
you can stay
knows
for
that.
a while, but you know you're
Yeah.
overstaying your welcome. You're doing the well. It's about time to call it a night. You should probably get the fuck out of here.
I think it's the
Here's your
opposite.
average hurry.
We don't mind you guys when you sleep. It's the awake hours that are problematic.
You don't like how loud and rambunctious Americans are? The yelling?
We did. Me and Avery did a podcast with Ted for Christmas, and that was one of the topics was Yanks and how loud they are in public settings. It's not just us. We're not the only culture that is loud when having a good time. There are plenty of loud cultures out there. It's just Europe. Europe is definitely not one of them.
I promise you, if you guys go to like a Dota event and you try to spot the Americans, it's really easy. Like you can hear BSJ anywhere in the liquid facility. I can hear Williams laugh. Like I know, like he's in the town lounge. You know, like I don't need to be close.
Dude,
Like,
it was the same thing in Japan. It's so funny. Like you're like, I mean, not to mention the fact that like, you know, a lot of them are just like random white people. It's like, okay, yeah, they're probably a foreigner. But like when you hear like the Americans specifically, like, oh yeah, I'm from Florida. It's so lovely here. I love being around. It's so nice. You know, this is like I had to put my head in my hands. I'm like, that's my people.
So part of this conversation led to you know, being at a bar. Ted talked about how the fact that Americans, you start drinking and stuff, and he did this impersonation.
Here's what it's like if you're in a bar or a pub or a restaurant and it's all English people and there's one table with some Americans, okay? So it's like murmuring conversation, and this is what you'll hear from the other side. Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, oh, that is so true. Absolutely. Come on, you're so fucking right. Yeah. Oh my God, high five. High five on that. You're so right, dude. You're the best. Woo! That's why you're the best. It's like that. And we're just trying to have our meal. And we're just like, what the fuck are these Yanks going on about? Yeah, woo! Like, we're not American. You can't be that American in this place. All right? You can't do it. You got to try and get with the vibe and chill a little bit. And
okay, but Ted.
Every single American, yeah. Oh my God, yeah. Oh, I love it, bro. High five. And then he did the woo. Woo. He said, "What is up with Americans and wooing?" Quinn, have you ever wooed?
I don't think I've ever wooed.
Do you know anybody who woos? Like you're from down south.
I mean, I've been around a woo before. Like I've experienced it, but like I can't say like to me it's like a tailgate type thing, you know.
Yeah,
like people are out there and they got like took their shirt off and they're like flipping ribs, you know, and they top brother, woo, you know, like like I've seen that.
Me and Avery were talking about it. It was just like I've never wooed in my life. He's never wooed in his life. We don't know anybody who's wooed in his life, but we know what he's talking about. There's a plant somewhere out there in the public that just does this sort of thing that nobody that you actually know does. It's one of those great mysteries of life. All right, well, I mean, I did nothing for holidays, so I got no stories in that regard.
Cap, what did you do for your holidays? We can.
I'm so yeah, thank you. I did absolutely nothing. I stayed home. I was burnt out. I did too many events in a row, and I fucking hurt my throat in Thailand. That sucked. So I was I stayed at home for both Christmas and New
Wait,
Year's.
what did you do in Thailand after the event that hurt your throat?
What's this bit?
I don't know. I've been watching dog shit YouTube content, so I'm on a thing right now.
The TikTok
what-
ban is gonna hit you hard.
Oh no.
Dude, I started watching YouTube for the first time because I got into Path of Exile. That was my Christmas. I got into Path of Exile since PoE 2 is coming out, and I needed something to be running on the side, and I just started watching YouTube, and it was like the first time I've actually ever used that site that way, of just like something that's constantly going. What is your go-to watch, Aydin?
I've been watching these like Australian. Okay, it's real bad. These like Australian comics that just like make jokes. They're doing like dad jokes. I saw it on Instagram Reels, and then I ended up on their YouTube channel, and it was like I don't know, because okay, it's same thing for me. I'm playing Guild Wars, and like I just like having something running because it's kind of slow, and it's just nice to have like
Yeah, it's too mind-numbing.
something.
The
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause-
grind of the game itself is like you actually need more stimulation because
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
Dota
yeah.
players. So
Exactly. And I think I told you, I did like all of Cinda and Sunsfan's podcasts, and then I did all of yours and Avery's podcasts, and I just like went through all the podcasts.
Holy gracious.
Yeah, and now I'm on this. So I like consuming like really bad content. So that I've just been listening to like them make jokes nonstop for like wait, now I just called everyone's content bad.
I thought that was intentional.
Same,
No,
I
it
also thought it was
wasn't.
intentional.
Oh my god,
It
that's a
wasn't.
good. That was a
It
good
wasn't
diss, Aydin.
intentional.
Good work.
No,
He's a
dude. Okay,
natural, man.
I did one podcast with Matu, and I inherited his way of just saying the dumbest shit unintentionally. That's also somewhat funny. I don't think their podcast was bad, and neither do I think yours and Avery's podcast was bad. I actually thought the other, complete opposite. However, I do think this Australian comic show is kind of bad, but it's nice. So yeah, I don't know. They just make dad jokes. I'm sure somebody in the audience will know what I'm talking about.
Okay. Quinn, you get any content holes? Do you watch YouTube? Do you get sucked into that algorithm at all?
I watch Northern Lion. There's someone who takes Northern Lion moments and uploads them. They're called the Librarian.
I watched that too. That's what I got
yeah.
sucked in on
Yeah.
PoE 2. I never watched him before, and then he like a clip just randomly showed up, and I was like, oh, this was pretty funny. And you know, he's playing like quiz games and stuff, and I like playing that too. And I was just like, oh shit, I'll watch this. And next thing you know, I've watched like 20 hours of this shit because that was how long my PoE 2 grind was.
Yeah, the Librarian is goated, and NL, I think, is like an aspirational streamer. He's like so incredibly good at the medium. It's like his ability to talk incessantly for 5 hours about like anything and somehow make it entertaining is like truly impressive. And I don't think I've seen any other streamer who is like able to do it the same way he does. Like I think it's genuinely impressive, his like mastery of the craft.
Yeah, I'll give that a +2. I agree.
If you're
I
playing
think
PoE, how do you?
like as a broadcaster, I find it extremely impressive anytime anybody is able to fill that void for that long and be that entertaining, because I feel like as a caster, I am reliant on the game a lot of times, or I am reliant on Avery, right? Like I need that back and forth to be able to, I can't do that solo ever. And so I find it really, really impressive whenever somebody can do that. And I feel like there are not many Dota streamers who can. So
Yeah.
But Dota's also just like a soul-sucking game, so it's hard to be fun and entertaining when playing this. So
Wait, with you playing PoE, did you see Elon lying about being good at PoE?
yeah,
And,
dude.
like, it's so funny. I like how like his base is like it's not like all the other stuff. It's this that's getting him roasted. Is the fact that he lied about being good at PoE.
Dude, what do you guys think about a fucking bit where we do a content piece at one of these like ESL Dream Leagues where we do that, but it's Elon playing Dota. Dude, I think that would go hard. I think that would go hard.
It would be pretty funny. You don't post it on Twitter. It's not gonna get very many likes, but
You'll get banned.
Dude, I mean, imagine Elon sees it and he responds to it.
ESL's gonna lose their verification status. You said you were going to the gym. How long have you been going to the gym for?
Me?
Yeah.
So last year around this time, I went for like 3 months, pretty properly. I was like going like a lot, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is nice." I got really into it, and then Dota got really stressful, and then I stopped going. Big mistake. Now I've been going again the last 2 weeks. So since New Year's, as like everyone else, pretty much.
Dude, that's crazy. That's almost my exact timeline. I went for 3
Yeah.
months, and then I stopped for a while, and then I've been going for like a month and a half or something on and off. Like,
Yeah.
because I didn't do it for New Year's, but I was doing it for like 2 weeks before, and then I've been doing it for like since like 3 weeks after.
Yeah. No, I did it before. Before Thailand, I went a little bit too. So I was going in Thailand too. No, but it's good. It's good. It's really fun when you start seeing progress, I think.
Yeah.
It's like just like I think in any sort of thing that I commit myself to, I like progressing. It's like fun. And something that I find really enjoyable about it is like it feels like none of your days go to waste. Because like you
Yes.
kind of
Yes.
have to sit an AFK anyway. You can't just like you know, you have to like chill. So like when you're sitting in front of your computer, it's a lot more guilt free when you've been to the gym or like
Yeah.
whereas Dota is a bit more like fluctuating. You don't like really you can't really tell if you're getting better or not because it's always like in
Yeah.
comparison to whoever you're being matched up against, I guess. So like your skill is always dependent on somebody else's skill as well.
What
This
were
is
your
more like linear.
reasons for starting to go?
Hate to give William credit in any shape, way, or form, but probably just like him pushing for it, and then I think no, I'm part of it is like just getting older and not wanting to be like super weak and starting to build like I think I wish I started earlier. So if like you are in your like 20 somethings, I remember like all throughout my early 20s, I kept thinking like, oh, if I start now, then in like 3 years I'll be like buff, and then like it's no point. I'm like so old already. There's no point. And then like at some point I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna get old at some point, and the more muscle I have now, the better. So that was like I guess like because Dota makes you feel old a lot earlier than life does, and that kind
Yeah.
of like helps you. I think for me at least helped me prepare for like actually getting old, like or thinking about it more and like what consequences you might face then. So yeah, just stuff like that. Not so
Fair.
much Dota reasons, I think, but
Oh yeah,
you
mine
know.
was 0% Dota. 0%.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like they're. I mean, maybe it's not for the same for you guys since you're pro players. So like playing Dota has like more substance to it, probably. But I feel like when I'm between events, that my days sometimes are just lacking that feeling of like I did something productive today. So what you were talking about when it comes to the gym, like that's the part that keeps me really satisfied because otherwise, like when I'm at home, I'm not being particularly productive because like it's kind of this nebulous space where there isn't much I can do. Like I create YouTube content, but I don't really love doing that. We do like the podcast like once or twice a week, but you know that's again not very often. So it's just kind of like a
Yeah.
lot of my days are just kind of filled with like mindlessly streaming and playing Dota, and it's just it doesn't feel great. It doesn't feel substantive, which going to the gym always does. So
Yeah.
it's good for
So what
mental
was your
health.
reason, Quinn?
Purely aesthetic. That was literally the only reason. I like it's nice like feeling a little stronger. Like it's fine, but yeah, that was like 0% of the reason why I started going.
Quinn's a real one. He gives the reason that 90% of the people who work out, it's aesthetic.
The true reason.
Yeah, that's literally the only thing I care about. That's the only
Yeah.
reason I started going.
Yeah.
As the unreal ultra skinny guy for like my entire life, at some point I like was like I don't want to look like this anymore. And not there's anything wrong with that if people are like it's fine, you know, like it's all fine. But it just for me personally, I just wanted to look different. I wanted to to see if I could. I wanted to see how I could look if I, you know, put effort into it. So it's been nice and it's helped my self-esteem a lot.
That's good.
Which has been really nice.
Yeah, it's you two and Avery. You all have been on the gym grind for, you know, a year plus at this time, and you all three of you have like I would say a pretty similar build. And you guys like at this point in time you could actually see quite a difference. You guys all look good.
Thanks, Cap.
Good work.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
One thing we actually forgot to talk about is you guys want to talk about rosters or no?
What
'Cause
about
that-
him?
Well, we had a lot of roster changes that did occur, such as your boy Parker being picked up by Secret, your boy
yeah, I
Parker
read-
getting kicked off of Heroic.
We
talked about that.
no?
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
The Parker-
Divine Llama. Divine Llama is
Oh,
now
yeah.
off of Heroic.
Wait, Divine Llama's your boy, Quinn?
No, he's not my boy. But I mean, I heard some stuff that I can't say on the pod about that happening. That's interesting.
Okay, Cap, cut it out. Go.
Yeah. Turning off the recording. Go
Cut the
ahead, Quinn.
start.
You could give us the. Yeah. I mean, I figured that's going to be the case for a lot of these. Because then, I mean, Aydin, what'd you feel about the Dyrachyo pickup for Tundra? I was not expecting that. I think it's good for them personally. I actually think it's really good for them. I think that despite 33 being boys with Nightfall and all, like I feel like if you have 33 on your team, you want a more active safe laner. I feel like that brings balance to the force.
Yeah. That's pretty much, honestly, I fully agree. I think in terms of playstyle fit, there's probably nobody better. Because I think in that category of players at the moment, there's like 3 people that stand out to me. It's Dyrachyo, Skeeter, and Mickey. And I think Netta played with 2 of them, and now he's playing with like the 3rd. So I think, yeah, it fits him as a player. I mean, you can always like, have different dynamics. It's not like you have to do things a certain way, but I think the natural, like, just like put the players together and make them play, good fit. We'll see how it like develops. Maybe like the Nightfall thing might have developed into something glorious. Who knows?
Can you think of a fourth name? Because I've also been on that. Like these 3
For
guys.
carries,
Yeah. Is there like a fourth name? Because I do kind of feel like they're the Mount Rushmore of like aggressive carries in the modern era. Like,
but I feel like there's like 6 teams to pick from if you're being like really, really like what are the best teams in the world and what are the best players. Like I think there are players that play like them. They're just not at the same caliber.
I
Sure.
mean, you can argue like Crystallis. It's probably the next closest one.
Crystallis, maybe.
yeah.
Or
Which
like
Actually,
maybe a
Crystallis is pretty
Smiling
good.
Knight.
okay.
I would say Crystallis like made an argument for himself, I guess, for 4th in this.
Yeah, I would
The
say
last
he's
event.
4th. I would say he's 4th for sure.
In which case, like he obviously did very well at Thailand. Proved himself there. Blitz said to me that it was really annoying drafting against him because he has these problem heroes, and those heroes are quite good in the meta right now. Which means that the pickup for Parivision was quite surprising for me. Replacing Crystallis right after you won a tournament. This is now twice now. I feel like this rarely ever happens in Dota because it's very hard to win. That a team wins a tournament and then changes their roster within, a month or 2. We had Heroic, now we've got Parivision. What do you guys think about that Satanic pickup? Because I hate it personally. Nothing with Satanic. I just don't think that the balance I think is off there.
Do you want me to be honest or nice?
Honest.
Okay, so I think, truthfully, when a player like Satanic pops up, you should go for it. And I think they made like a really savage decision, but in terms of like gameplay wise and for the sake of like their team, they got someone from the same culture, same language, arguably, like better or worse, I don't know, but like more, like more potential. He had less explored player. So I think like from the standpoint of that, good decision. From like a humanity aspect of like, yo, this guy did literally everything he could. He won the tournament. How are you kicking him? And he played well and he looked good and like he did nothing wrong. He doesn't deserve this at all. And like Red Crystallis on, I kind of liked him, so I feel bad, but I think ruthless. But I think Satanic is like a very unique case. I think like there aren't very many players in which you could replace Crystallis, and I would feel this way about. And I think he's probably like maybe the only one. Maybe there's like 2 or 3 more.
I'm gonna challenge you on those reasonings there because I completely disagree. Because I think that yes, Satanic is a generational player, and if you could get your hands on him, it's great. Great org decision if you can get your hands on him. They don't have him though. He's
They did not get their
alone,
hands on him. Yeah.
right? Like if this
Oh,
was
He
a
still has the
Parivision
15
now
trillion
has
buyout.
Satanic for the next 2 or 3 years, this is a good move. But I think that like this is a loan. Presumably the loan runs out after Riyadh TI this year, after the big tournaments, new season starts. So like I feel like you are just giving a player an opportunity to grow and learn, but isn't going to give you the results that you want. And in which case you're just handing him back to another org, unless you want to pay
Well,
the insane buyout. So
I mean, they're like a gambling org, right? They don't care.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
you said honest. I'm being honest.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
they don't. They'll pay the buyout. No,
That's true.
I feel
I
like
mean,
If the results are there, yeah.
everybody's
Yeah.
got like it depends, right? Like I don't know. At one point, Satanic's buyout was like $1 million, right? Like I don't think they're paying $1 million.
I don't know. How much money do you think
Maybe I'm
a
wrong.
gambling website makes in a day? I mean, I don't know. But,
I don't
like,
know either. I know it's a lot. I don't know how much.
yeah,
Okay.
and I just feel like I don't know. Dota and CIS seems like Giga Alive compared to the rest of the world.
For sure.
I've got
But yeah,
a
the loan thing does change things. I
Okay.
will say that. I thought he was like playing, like he's like signed. He left Spirit. He's now with. I didn't know that. I thought that was like half the point.
I have two more counter arguments here. I think the culture thing, I would have agreed with that, but they won a tournament. They proved that those problems must not be so insurmountable. They did surmount them. They did get over them, and they won a tournament.
Yeah.
Like I don't think necessarily that puts Parivision at like number 1 in the world winning that tournament, but I do think they proves that they can, right? That Riyadh
Mhm.
TI they can win. Not that they're the favorites for it, but they prove that it's possible.
But it could also
yeah.
be that they learned the opposite thing while winning. Like I just feel like maybe they realized this patch was so unbelievably good for us. Everything lined up, everything was like perfect, and this is like the only circumstance in which this concept can work. And then they were like, and there's Satanic, and the patch is moving in a direction that favors him. And like if we're this good with someone that does, like what I mean. It's like
Yeah.
I feel like these things are always a bit hard to know what's going on inside of a team in that way.
Sure.
I don't know. I think Crystallis is really good. Like it's not nothing like that. And like they proved a concept to play with them. But I think like for example, if I think of DM and Neta, I don't really feel the same way. I don't feel like DM needs like a tempo carry the same way like someone like Neta does in my mind.
Sure.
And I think of no one, and I think like he doesn't really need like he can play both ways kind of.
Yeah.
If anything, in my mind, Satanic is a better fit than Crystallis for their players. But I'm not sure. Like I'm basing this on absolutely nothing. Speculation.
Yeah, the disclaimer to all this is that we are ultimately speaking out of our ass, and like obviously the team knows better. But I will say that is a good point on team composition. I have a slightly different take on it, in which case I think that Crystallis being on the team, they were able to pick up his hero early in the draft, and they were able to very often save no one for a really good 1v1 pickup. And Quinn, I mean, you're the mid here. I feel like no one, that's a guy you want to be in a position to dominate his mid matchup. Like I look at you two kind of similar in that regard. Like I want them to be able to have more of a pure 1v1, a matchup that is winnable and or even an advantage, and they take that advantage and they run with it. I think that is where no one's skill set is best set. I agree with you that he can play both, but for me, like that's the advantage I saw with Crystallis. I do agree, like it's different between the 33 DM. Like I think that's a good point that the balance there, they could afford more of a hard carry. But like Satanic, when it came to Spirit, man, maybe it was just when he was on Spirit, but it felt like he was last pick every single time. They were going the hard carry route. They were trying to give him the 1v5. And if they continue that idea with, Parivision, if that's where Satanic feels most comfortable, then I think you're kind of screwing with the advantage that you have with no one being such a beast, especially right now. Like it feels like the last 6 months he's been tearing it up.
So do you remember a player called Ramses on a team called VP
Yeah.
featuring no one?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Lil Bro was playing hard carries and like it was working very, very well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I
fair.
feel like okay, but if I'm honest, I think their dynamic reminds me a little bit about VP. The Satanic version of this team is a bit more VP-esque to me, where I could see them like kind of like take turns a little bit, or like depending on. But the problem with these setups is that it's you gotta get it right, and in that I agree with you. Like the drafting aspect becomes maybe a bit less clear, but that doesn't always have to be a bad thing. It's like
Mm.
we're no longer gonna first pick Monkey King every single game, but we now have more options in general. But we need to now figure out who, like, how to, like, can somebody has to be first picked, or somebody has to be like just put out there.
Yeah.
Like somebody has to be 13. Just go. What are you playing?
Hmm.
I'm playing Clockwork every game. Like someone has to do it. And I think on their team they have enough players that can do that. That I don't see it being a problem in current patch. It might be a problem down the line. Don't really know. But that's why I think for them specifically, the pickup makes more sense than I think if any other top team would kick their carry like right now. I think it would like be harder to argue for like bringing in. Like I think if we kicked Mickey and brought in Satanic, it would be like I don't know. Our dynamic would be so weird. Or like any other team, like Game whatever, Tundra, whoever. I think it would be like for them. I think it makes the most sense out of the top 6 or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
Quinn, what are your thoughts?
No, I mean, I think I get where Aydin's coming from. Like, Satanic is a generational talent, to be honest. He's like clearly incredibly gifted at the game, and like he just like gets stuff about the game at like a fundamental level. Like I play pubs with the guy, and I'm like, he just gets it. Like I can see the way he like moves his hero and his like clicks and stuff, his itemization. Like he is a generational talent, no doubt. And so I get the allure of wanting to pick someone up like that up. I also think Crystallis, like by nature, is a scapegoat player. Like he's like on and any team that guy's in, that guy will always be the guy who sucks it up, who maybe gets made fun of, like via the public, or is like I think just in social circles in general, there tends to be somebody who like is the butt of jokes. And that's and I don't know the guy personally, but that's just the vibe it gives off. Is he is like the person on the team, he's the sacrificial lamb on a team in a lot of ways. And I think those players just have a higher tendency to get kicked. I also agree with Aydin that it's like on like a personal level, it's like a really messed up kick. It's the middle of the season. You just want a tournament. He didn't do anything wrong. He's playing really well. He's a really nice guy. Like it is a messed up kick on a personal level. But I also get where they're coming from, and like it remains to be seen whether or not it's bad, because I can see the arguments you're both saying. Like I can see it go either way, that the roster works really well, and I can also see it go the other way, that something like that's the thing about roster changes in Dota, is the little bits and pieces that make things work or not work are so infinitesimal that it's like it's really hard to actually know. Even to someone on the team or off the team, like no, you don't really know. You have a good guess maybe, and you have like reasons why you made the decision, but those reasons may be wrong or right. Like, and only time will bear that out. And I think that tends to be the case. Like, as the Seb tweeting about Soxa joining the team when they kick Fada, like this would be the worst decision in Dota history. And then
I
like,
almost thought about making that tweet off of the Crystallis one. I thought that would have been pretty funny, but
it would have been funny. But it's like that, right? That happens with rosters all the time. Somebody gets kicked, they're swapped in. It's like this makes no sense. It's an atrocious decision. And sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't. And you don't really know until it bears fruit.
I mean, I think also at the end of the day, it's 5 human beings. We're all kind of like adaptable. People are not just like this. You know what I mean? I think
It's
for
not
it's
totally
like really
binary.
easy. Exactly. I think it's really easy to view Dota players like, oh, Miposhia, the best Enchantress, blah blah blah, the best Chen, or like you just have like this idea like this person is this. Aydin Oracle only. Like everything else shit. Oracle amazing. And
no,
like
no,
I
that's
just
not
want to-
true. That's not true. You got Tree as well. I'll
Thank you,
always
thank
stand
you.
up for your Tree and Protector.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you. I appreciate that. No, but like I just think it's like that. It's like people are gonna adapt to each other and it's gonna take time to gel. Like when we brought in Meta, what I thought the end result was gonna be was very different from what the end result actually came to be. You know what I mean? My idea of what our perfect roster with Meta looks like was not what it ended up looking like. Our like TI run or whatever, our peak was something else than what I thought it would be. And I think that's like everyone kind of just like adapting a bit to each other. and
Can
seeing.
you elaborate on that? Like, what was your vision for? Because
mean,
I
I can
agree.
just
Like, whenever a
yeah.
lineup comes together, I, from an outsider perspective, also like, oh, I think this will how the team will end up working.
So,
Is that too much information?
I'm thinking if it is. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I could tell you. I don't know if I could tell Quinn.
All right, fair enough. That's fine.
Because
We
these guys
have
are ruthless. I don't know. I'll tell you at like a breakfast at a LAN at some point.
okay. All right.
Remember the question. I'll let you know. There's just yeah.
We had a bunch of other roster changes, right? The heroic, they kicked Lama, they picked up Yuma and Whisper. That looks like a really strong team. Even though, again, they winning a tournament and kicking doesn't seem like great, but what they've come up with does look really good. Are you guys excited for the old dogs coming back? Seb back on OG. You got Yatoro and Collapse coming back. Are you excited for that? Are you afraid? Are you what does that make you feel?
I'm happy Seb is back, to be honest. I feel like Dota is always more fun when like Seb is not retired. To be honest. It's just
No.
fun. Yeah.
I think it's funny. I mean, I think Yatoro and Collapse coming back was inevitable. Everybody knew that they were coming back. You see their pub numbers, and you just know they're coming back. And if I were Rue, I would be quaking in my boots. Is all I'm saying. I feel like he's watching his friends drop by his side, the sniper bullets one by one, and I feel like he's the last one standing next to the generals. And I feel like, yeah, maybe they won't kick him. Maybe he's staying, But if I were him, I'd be a little spooked. Is all I'm saying.
Especially since like the players they kicked, I did feel like they proved themselves to certain degrees. Like I thought like Malik really stepped up to this offlane role for Spirit. I thought he would be a top prospect after this kick, even though, obviously it was gonna happen. You have the chance to get fucking Collapse back, you're gonna do it. But like I felt like he raised his stock. Obviously Satanic. People love that guy. So it was like, I felt like there was maybe a small chance that those guys get kept on if like these players chose to wait out the whole season and come back in 6 months. But
I mean,
they
I guess
didn't.
it's worth talking about though, because it was like their statements are all a bit different. I think Mira said something like, "I'm not coming back until I learn to play Dota again,"
Yeah,
which was quite
he,
harsh on himself.
yeah, he seems to be constantly like he's talked about how he has the impersonator syndrome, right, where he constantly feels like he just seems to be really hard on himself, that he is not as good as people think he is.
Mm-hmm. I play against him a lot. Obviously, very good. So if on any off chance he watches this and he cares, you're not. You're good. Second of all, I think Collapse was like said he's like 6 months off and I'm coming back, and the Yatoro thing was like Corbin said on stream or interview something that like Yatoro has to like come back soon or there's no spot for him, and I guess he like took as long of a break as he could have with keeping his spot.
Yeah.
So I think like the Rue staying, I think it's like a little bit different. I don't think he's like as much on the chopping block because I don't think Mira coming back is like as clear of a thing. I'm not
Okay.
sure like Mira himself wants to come back. You know what I mean?
Maybe so.
Yeah.
I do think it was pretty funny that like Collapse and Yatoro took this break, and Collapse took the break to get jacked apparently, and then Yatoro takes the break from playing professional Dota, but still keeps on playing shit tons of
100
pub
pubs
Dota
a week or whatever. Yeah.
It was Seb all over again. Like this guy retires. I actually had a theory about this. I was on stream and I was like, I think that Seb plays more Dota when he's not playing professionally, because scrims take up, like the Dota 2 Pro Tracker number, right? There's 3 hours, 6 hours of like scrims that are taking up, potential pub time. So I was like, the way to tell if Seb's going to be coming back to Pro Dota is to see if he's playing less pubs than normal, because that probably means he's scrimming, in which case it means he's coming back to Pro Dota.
That's true.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, Yatoro is just. I mean, I think this guy is one of those dudes who just only cares about the game. Like I saw some quote where he's like, someone was asking him what he wants to do or whatever. He was like, I want to win a tournament. I want to win the tournament after that. I don't want to win a tournament. Like this guy, I think just like I mean, I think he wants to be the GOAT. I don't think everybody wants to be the GOAT. Not everybody cares about that, like in competition. But I think that guy is someone who like only really cares about Dota, and I think there is a decent chance that when Dota is said and done, he is the GOAT. To be honest.
Then I guess the question is his legacy going to look more like Michael Jordan or LeBron? And it seems like more like LeBron, right? In the fact that it feels like he's probably just not going to quit. I feel like he's just going to kind of keep going and keep playing for a long time and probably
Maybe so.
maintain a top level the entire time.
But the game is dying, Cap. How long will the game be around for?
You sound like the ghost of Christmas Past. I feel like watching. I feel like I hear the Muppets. You know,
The only other thing was Apex Genesis got picked up by Amaranth's wildcard.
Holy.
Holy.
You think they
What's
shipped them
that
like
now?
bathwater water bottles or whatever to while they play?
Wait, Amaranth also sells bathwater? It's not just Belle Delphine?
It's not just you. Oh.
It's not just me. Wait, somebody else is on this?
She jacked my thing. That's crazy.
Shit.
I gotta find something new.
We had, I guess GPK replaced Kiyotaka, but I mean, I felt like that was inevitable. I
Yeah.
felt
Was
like
it?
Betboom
Was it that
needed
careful?
to win Thailand in order for them to keep Kiyotaka at that
Dude,
point.
I think even if they won, it was that guy was
Yeah.
not.
You guys think
surviving
it was
the
that
winter.
clear?
I felt
it,
like he was not surviving the winter.
I see.
I
mean,
actually asked him. I remember I asked him
again-
that question at one of those pregame interviews that they made me do. And I interviewed Kiyotaka, yeah, and I asked him. I was like, the boys just won a tournament with GPK. Like, how are you in that headspace right now? Like moving forward on this tournament? He seemed
What did
pretty
he
chill
say?
about it, but I think he said he was just like, he's just gonna focus on the game and. He said they were also talking about different mid laners or something like that. Oh, I asked him about Tinker, like him and like Stormstormer. And I said, like, who's the better Tinker? And he said, me. And I said, well, Stormstormer has a better win rate. He's more games, better win rate. He said, winning isn't
but
everything, or
is,
something like that.
That one is not. That one is like not close.
Yeah, it is not close.
I feel like do you not? Okay, go everyone in chat. Go to YouTube
Chat.
and type in Berlin Major Kiyotaka Tinker.
Yeah, he is the best Tinker.
And I will one day
he's the best
tell the
Tinker.
story of the night before, but not today. And you will be even more impressed by that performance.
I see. Are you suggesting he was not in his best shape?
I will let you guys imagine whatever you want. But
I did hear stories about that.
Exercise your imagination muscles.
Yes.
And then push
But
that a
I will
little
share.
further.
I will share the story at some point.
Okay.
Keep watching our podcast and subscribe to the Patreon.
Click that bell. Ding, ding, ding.
Yes.
Gang, gang.
Ice cream's so good.
Oh my god, you're too good at that. You're practicing for your career after being a player, aren't you?
Yes.
That's why you're watching those Northern Lion clips. You're like, how to be the best TikTok streamer. All right. I think that's it.
That's it.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you guys.
Did I give Alienware a shout out in this episode?
No, they don't sponsor the episode, motherfucker.
You talked about their big
You
fat
already talked
honking,
about
like
their facilities with
girthy,
the
couldn't fit in your building.
1960s computers that fill up a giant room.
The fans love it.
Apparently,
The fans
Yeah,
love
they
it.
have to
You know,
expand their
okay.
door frame to like fit the case through. There's like
Fun
heckin'
fact,
servos
fun
running
fact.
out of every nook and cranny.
You know, I get tagged on Twitter, and like random people will like ask for a mouse. Like someone with like 3 likes on their post would ask for a mouse, and I get tagged, or like a headset or something, and they're like, "Insania, do the thing." I literally get tagged.
Do you do the thing?
Usually not. Rarely I do. Like Sing Sing recently asked, like on Twitter, for a mouse, and then I got like tagged into it, I think, or I saw it for whatever reason, and then I was just like, all right, it's time. It's time to unleash the tweets.
bye, everybody.
Bye.
No, just the stash and the.
I like it.
goatee.
It's
You got
giving
a goatee
Blackbeard.
going on.
Yeah, I'm trying something new. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how long it lasts.
I kind of like it. It's kind of cool.
Thanks, appreciate it.
I'm trying to think of like what guy you look like. Like you look like a guy, but I don't know which guy it is.
I mean, okay. So I can tell you this. Or maybe are you recording?
Now recording.
Now recording. Perfect.
Answers
so
that.
this is this is what happened. I was gonna like clean shave before Christmas. We were gonna go see like Agnes Family, and then like as I was shaving, I was like, oh, I kind of look like. I mean, I'm very humble, by the way. I kind of look like Johnny Depp. I was like, because I was like thinner and more like, and then I like Googled a picture of him as Jack Sparrow, and I was like, this is like fairly accurate. My hair was like all like messy, and then
Yeah,
you know.
It is not
see it.
dissimilar.
It's like I don't look like him, but it was like his stash and like hair at the time. So it kind of worked. I was like, that's kind of funny, and then I just kept it, and I haven't shaved since, or like shaved this part since.
How does Agnes feel about the Depp transformation?
Agnes, how do you feel about the Johnny Depp transformation? She did this, so I think it's good. I think
Tubular
she's
dude.
accepting.
Just don't transform into him as a person. That's not so good.
Not so good? Okay, duly noted. I need to buy blue glasses for Bedroom Dacha. I feel like that's like...
True.
what I
Or yeah, red tinted or blue tinted glasses.
Are they red?
For sure.
I think blue.
Then get in a
Oh my
really
God.
public lawsuit, like really public. Take me out of the clip, court. Take me out.
This man is only guilty of flaming people in Dota.
that guy.
They're
This
gonna
guy.
show. They're gonna show a clip in
Arrest
court,
him.
and there's gonna be a
Arrest-
blurry face on Quinn. It's just gonna be like one of those true crime blurry faces.
Yeah,
This
it's gonna
person
say
just
redacted.
remained anonymous.
Holy.